Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and today's video is going to be a fun one. In today's video, we'll be taking a look at the Triple Dark Poison themed team. This team features a Shadow Drapion on the lead, running Bite, Fell Stinger, and Aqua Tail, Shadow Skuntank as the save switch, and a Alolan Grimer as the closer. This is definitely not a team I'd recommend for climbing, but I was able to have some incredibly fun sets with it. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and check out the Triple Dark Poison themed team in action in the Great League. Hopping into the first match, picking up a pretty neutral lead Shadow Drapion into Empoleon. The Shadow Bite damage is really going to add up in this matchup. Empoleon reaches a Hydro Cannon, but they're already below half health. I'm going to shield it and then go for the Fell Stinger to try and force a shield, but my opponent makes a very nice switch, switching to absorb the Fell Stinger damage onto their Mandibuzz. That is not great, because with Bite, I don't generate energy very quickly, so losing that energy is really rough for me. I bring in a Alolan Grimer. Alolan Grimer will very safely be able to tank 2 Aerial Aces here, and I'm going to fire off the Sludge Bomb. Sludge Bomb is going to do a nice amount of damage onto the Mandibuzz, and put it into a range where a second Sludge Bomb should be enough to KO. I'm going to tank the Aerial Ace, farm up, and then go for the Sludge Bomb on what should be a CMP tied to the Aerial Ace. If they decide to shield, I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm going to let it go and just get an energy lead on my Shadow Skuntank. Aerial Ace will take out the Grimer. In comes Shadow Skuntank. Skuntank able to Poison Jab down. Back in comes Empoleon. We know Empoleon doesn't have any energy because they threw it, so I will be able to outpace here. I go for the crunch, I get the shield, and we get the defense drop. That is massive. I'm going to shield up. I don't think I'm going to be able to farm down here because this is resisted. I farm a ton. I bring in Drapion, and I'm able to snipe with Bite. And in the back, they have a Alolan Ninetales, and I have the Flamethrower loaded on Skuntank. Back in comes Shadow Skuntank. Flamethrower takes down the Alolan Ninetales, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, leading Shadow Drapion into Wallrain. Honestly, this team doesn't have a great check to Wallrain, so I'm perfectly fine with catching it on the lead. I'm just going to farm up and then go for the Fell Stinger on what should be a CMP tied to a potential Earthquake. Fell Stinger gets the shield from the Wallrain and allows me to buff up my attack. I call the bait, just an Icicle Spear, and that is a massive no shield. These bites absolutely tearing through Wallrain, and at this point, I think I just let the Drapion go. Drapion has done an incredible job, and now I'm just going to get energy on my Shadow Skuntank, because Shadow Skuntank with energy is incredibly deadly. They aggressive switch into their Sableye, and they must be incredibly weak to Dark Poison in the back. I'm going to let this go. It's just a foul play. I'm able to tank that, no problem, and I build up to the back-to-back crunches. This should just about take out the Sableye here. Crunch gets them low. We Poison Jab down. In the back, they have a Shadow Kanto Ninetales, and we should be in a very good position here. Crunch gets the shield. I switch in my Alolan Grimer. They're running Ember, and we should have this game in the bag so long as my opponent is not able to catch. I shield up the Weather Ball. They go for the catch onto Wallrain. I farm down, and that will be game over. Alolan Grimer going for the Sludge Bomb, taking down the Ninetales, and that is a good game. Terrible lead in the next match, Shadow Drapion into Azumarill. I immediately switch into Shadow Skuntank, and my opponent does as well, as they switch in with Shadow Kanto Ninetales. This is not a matchup that Skuntank can win in an even shield situation, so I'm just going to play out the one shield here. I'm going to farm up and then fire off the crunch. If they decide to shield, I'm just going to let this go and then get an energy lead on my Alolan Grimer. By immediately switching, I didn't reveal my Drapion's moveset, so hopefully, even though I've given up switch, they'll think that I have nothing but poison fast moves and just bring in the Azu. And that's exactly what they do. They bring the Azumarill into the Alolan Grimer, everything going the way I need it to. I go for the Sludge Bomb. Sludge Bomb able to get the Azumarill low. Azumarill is going to fire off a move. I'm going to let this go and trust in Shadow Drapion. They go for the Play Rough. In comes Shadow Drapion. Bites adding up, and in the back is Registeel. Registeel does, of course, have access to Zap Cannon, which could lower my attack. I'm not going to let that happen. I'm going to go for the Fell Stinger to raise my attack, so after they Zap Cannon, I'll just be back to normal instead of lowered. They go for the Zap Cannon, and now it's a race. Can I make it to the Aqua Tail? Drapion able to get there. Is this going to be enough to KO? Aqua Tail, not the strongest move. Aqua Tail, not enough to KO. Registeel, able to reach a move. This will be taking down the Drapion. Can I Poison Jab down with Grimer? Grimer able to farm down, and that will be game over. Grimer, Sludge Bomb, taking down the Azu, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, leading Shadow Drapion into Sableye, a pretty nice lead. I'm going to be staying in here because these bites are absolutely shredding through Sableye. Sableye is at enough for a return, so I am going to be respecting it with a shield. They decide to bait with a foul play, and I'm going to fire off the Fell Stinger. This, I'm hoping, will be able to grab a shield. It does. And then they bring in Toxicroak, and this is absolutely terrible. They fire off a Mud Bomb before I'm able to reach an Aqua Tail. Toxicroak is a massive core breaker for this entire team, so I'm now in a ton of trouble. I'm going to bring in Shadow Skuntank and try and farm down if at all possible. I desperately need to be able to farm down before he reaches a Mud Bomb. It's going to be close. We cannot farm down, and that's probably going to be game over as I lose a ton of energy. I bring in Grimer, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, picking up a very nice lead, Shadow Drapion into Deoxys. They stay in, see that it's Bite, and they save switch into their own Drapion. They're going to be able to outpace me here because they're running Poison Sting, so I'm just going to tank a move on my Drapion, and then I'm going to bring in Skuntank. And my Skuntank is running Flamethrower, so I will be able to hit for neutral in this matchup, even when they're only able to hit for resisted. They go for the Crunch. We tank that perfectly fine, and there's no defense drop, which is even better. I farm up, and I go for the Flamethrower, hoping for the KO, but they do decide to commit the shield. If this is just a Crunch, I don't believe a Crunch will KO here. They go for the Crunch. Skuntank able to hang on and reach the last second Crunch. That's fantastic. And now the opponent has to decide, do they want to give up the final shield? They do not. They bring back Deoxys, and I bring in Drapion. I'm going straight for the Fell Stinger to buff up my bite damage. Fell Stinger gets the shield, and I believe this should be the Psycho Boost. Psycho Boost is resisted, but would do a decent amount of damage, so I shield up, and in the back, it is Lickitung. I'm just going to stay in here because my bite damage is boosted, and I can get some very valuable chip damage onto the Lickitung. So I'm going to stay in, go for the Aqua Tail, and then I should be in a very safe position to bring in the Alolan Grimer. I bring in the Grimer, I can just commit to the farm down here. Opponent sees the writing on the wall and concedes the match. Hopping into the next match, picking up a great lead, Shadow Drapion into Shadow Venusaur. I have 3 answers to this, so I save switch into the Skuntank. They bank a Frenzy Plant, and then they bring in Bastiodon, and this is a very tough Pokemon for this team to see. I'm just going to fire off as many Crunches as I can, and I get the ever-important defense drop. That is huge. It appears they're going to try and farm me down, so I'm just going to keep spamming out Crunches. Second one lands, hoping I can make it to a third, and I can. This is not going to be enough to take out the Bastiodon. Hopefully they don't know that, but they do. They're able to absorb the damage and commit to the farm down. I'm going to bring in Shadow Drapion, basically just no shield and then bite all the way down and save 2 shields for my Alolan Grimer. We know they have a move banked on their Venusaur. What is that final Pokemon? And it's Registeel. Oh my goodness, I'm very happy I still have my Drapion left alive. I'm going straight for the Fell Stinger. Let's start ramping up this bite damage. We get a shield from the Registeel. That is fantastic. I'm going to shield myself. They go for a Flash Cannon. They are running an old Registeel with Flash Cannon, and that proves to be a massive issue because they're able to outpace my Shadow Drapion. That is not good at all. I am going to be bringing in the Grimer. Grimer's going to fire off the Crunch before they're able to get to a move. Crunch does get the shield, and we get the defense drop. The question is, am I going to be able to Poison Jab down? This is going to be very, very tough. Grimer gonna try and commit to the jab down. I'm not gonna be able to do it, so I fire off the Crunch. I did overfarm slightly, so hopefully this will be enough energy to outpace the Shadow Venusaur. I need to reach a Crunch before they reach the back-to-back. I believe they're 1 off the back-to-back here. They go for the Frenzy Plant. I tank it, and I get to the Crunch. Crunch will be taking down the Shadow Venusaur, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, picking up a Nightmare Lead Shadow Drapion into Galarian Stunfisk. Gfisk beats this entire team, but this matchup is exactly why we are running Bite, because the Bite damage is really going to start to add up onto this Gfisk. I shielded at the last second, and unfortunately, I shield a bait. I'm going to fire back with the Fell Stinger to raise my Bite damage. Fell Stinger gets a shield in return, and now this Bite damage is really tearing through the Gfisk. I decided to call the bait here, feeling brave, and it's just a Rock Slide. I'm able to get the Gfisk quite low, but I need all the damage I can get here. So I'm going to shield up and try and go for the bite down. Drapion not able to bite down. The Gfisk is able to live, and they reach a last second move versus my Skuntank. That is not good whatsoever. I have to hope that now that Gfisk is gone, they have no response to a Dark Poison, and it appears they do not as they bring in Sableye. That's fantastic. I'm going to go for the crunch. I get the shield. I'm going to farm up to one before, switch, and catch what should hopefully be a foul play onto my Grimer. That is a massive catch. We do catch the foul play. I'm just going to keep farming up. They go for the catch of their own onto Azumarill, but I hold on to my energy, and I'm going to fire off the Sludge Bomb. Sludge Bomb is going to get Azumarill quite low. I'm farming up. They fire off a move just before I'm able to get there. But this is honestly fine. If they take me out here, then I should be able to farm down with Skuntank and reach a move, but they undercharge to not let that happen. So I'm going to undercharge myself and get it into one Poison Jab range. Bring in the Skuntank, farm down, win CMP over the Sableye, and that is game over. Shadow Skuntank closing strong, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, leading Shadow Drapion into Shadow Kanto Ninetales. I'm going to save switch into Skuntank, and my opponent responds with Wallrain. Definitely not the best matchup ever, but at the very least, I do have an energy lead. I go for a crunch, I get a shield, and that's perfectly fine by me. At this point, even if they go for an Earthquake, I'm just going to let it through. I am not shielding whatsoever. They go for the Icicle Spear. I live on very low HP, and I get to a second crunch. Skuntank puts in so much work, and it's a simultaneous KO. And now I have shield advantage. I'm just going to bring back in the Shadow Drapion, and they bring in the Shadow Kanto Ninetales. I do not know what they have in the back, which is slightly scary. So I am going to be shielding this up because Weather Ball would do a ton of damage. And then I'm going to go for the Aqua Tail just in case they decide to no shield. Aqua Tail goes unshielded. They get taken out. In the back, they have Tapu Fini. And I should just be able to reach back-to-back crunches, which will be closing out this game. The Poison Jabs will do enough damage that I can just go straight for the crunch. And Tapu Fini should not be able to reach the back-to-back moves here. I am going to be shielding up. Tapu Fini fires off the Surf. They are not able to reach the second. Alolan Grimer taking down the Tapu Fini. And that is a good game. Tough lead in the final match, Shadow Drapion into Obstagoon. I save switch into Shadow Skuntank, and the Obstagoon is staying in and farming up a ton of energy. I'm going to go for the crunch bait. If they're staying in, maybe they're weak. And I'm able to get a shield. That is huge. I'm not going to shield a thing. I'm just going to let it go. They go for a Night Slash. That is not going to be enough damage. Obstagoon goes for the counter down, but I'm able to reach another crunch. That is huge. That's going to get their Obstagoon very low, and they're forced to throw. So I've managed to get shield advantage here, and I'm just going to take shield advantage, farm down with Grimer. Opponent sees the writing on the wall and concedes the match. All in all, I had a ton of fun running the triple Dark Poison theme team. Drapion is definitely better with Poison Sting, but I did have a lot of fun using Bite and using Fell Stinger as well to really ramp up that Bite damage. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you, as always, to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.